Third down and 20.
Boom, boom, boom.
Over-under results are in from the beginning of the season. Me and Steed, we did a lot better than I was expecting, to be completely honest. I thought that...
I was sitting there like during like at the end of Sunday, and I was like remembering over-unders, and I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure I took the over on that team, and I'm thinking that hit. You know, like I'm like, I got to the feeling, I'm like, I think we did pretty good like this. We're gonna have to check the records, but it turns out we did pretty well.
The only division I know I did well on was AFC East. I thought that I was going to be hanging around 500. So Steed ended up going overall 18, 12, and 2 with 11 and 5 in the AFC, 7, 7, and 2 in the NFC. I ended up going somehow 28 or 21, 8, and 2. And if you're an astute math person, you'll realize that only adds up to 31 and not 32. I forgot to pick the Seahawks. I never gave a pick for the Seahawks.
You said screw the Seahawks.
Yeah, I said screw the Seahawks. So I have 31, Steve has 32. Did not mean for that to happen. I somehow went 13 and 3 in the AFC, 8, 5, and 2 in the NFC. So just based off of that, obviously the AFC went a lot more according to plan compared to the NFC. So just looking at some of the highlights and teams that we were the most right on, overall, our best division was the AFC North. I was the only person to get a pick wrong for the both of us in the AFC North by taking the over on the Ravens instead of the under. Me and Steed both took the over on the Steelers, Browns, and under on the Bengals, which all hit. Steed took the under on the Ravens to go 4-0, me going 3-1. Steed, do you want to have any final thoughts on the AFC North and why you were thinking what you were thinking in the beginning of the season?
So I know your team plays in a division, but I know your division better than you. No, I'm just playing.
All right.
I'm just playing. Well, the Ravens one was at 11.5, and that really could have gone either way. They just ran into that little like rough spell, you know. And especially they had the COVID crisis, so you got to take that into account. But you know, the Ravens, I felt like would just fall a tick under, and wouldn't like teams would figure out their offense, and you saw that like in the middle part of the season. You know, I was always huge on the Browns coming this season. Steelers. Well, I just saw like that was a great value pick right there. You know, you get Big Ben back, you have the defense coming back, and then the Bengals because the Bengals suck. And I felt like that was one of the more easier divisions to pick because like it was just that one team with the Ravens. Are they going to like stay like a beast? And they're still a beast team, but like, you know, they're going to fall a little bit, and that's about it.
Yeah, so just going through the list, the teams that we agreed on that we were the most right were the Bills, first off. We both thought that the Bills would overtake this division, but I think that was kind of a consensus argument. Their over-under was only 9, which looking back is really low.
I wish I threw like $10,000
on it. We were both right on the Chargers. We both took the under of 8 on the Chargers. They missed it by 1 game, but our reasoning was correct. We knew that this team was just going to Charger it out. Anthony Lynn, we had as a bottom half of the league head coach when we ranked our coaches, and it looks to be correct as he was just canned. And we knew that this team, their depth was going to come in and bite them in the ass. They always, every year, have a great roster on paper, but once they have a couple guys go down here and there, they aren't able to do that next man up.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, we were both correct on. We both had them picked for the number 1 overall pick, while they were the favorite. Ended up happening, so you can't say that we were wrong there.
They gave us a scare week 1.
Yeah, they did give us a scare, but we stayed strong.
Jesus.
And then probably the 2 teams that we were the most correct on were the Rams, over 8.5. I know a lot of people weren't very high on the Rams coming into the season, saying They struggled last year. The division just got better this year. We both had them as a playoff team again. We both thought, okay, Rams, they're going back to the playoffs. We don't care about the division. They did. And the Washington football team hit their over of 5. It's a low over-under, but every single over-under, under 6. 6 wins or under, we took the under, except for the Washington football team. We were correct on every single team with an over-under of 6 or below. Washington football team won the division, baby. Let's go,
everybody. Yeah, everybody called us crazy. Like, we were just sitting there and be like, why are we kind of high on this football team right now? Like, why are we picking the over? We're like, this is going to come back and bite us somehow. But actually, it turns out they win the division. They're playing. They play on Saturday or Sunday.
I think on Sunday against the Tom Brady Buccaneers. That's going to be an interesting one. But no,
did they get the Nickelodeon game?
Dude, I don't even know about. I don't even want to look at that Nickelodeon game bull crap. I don't want to even think about that. But yeah, we kind of hit the nail on the head with the Washington football team. We both realized coming in that their offense was going to be terrible. We actually joked around about the fact of Alex Smith coming back and saving the team for the playoffs, which ended up happening, which is hilarious.
We're from the future.
But we both saw you as the Falcons fan with the Panthers in your division and just me as a Riverboat Ron fan. What Ron Rivera is able to do when he gets a team with a good defense, he's able to just scrap and claw his way to winning football games, which he was able to do with this football team. And not that we were saying that the football team is going to make the playoffs. We just thought, hey, 5 is too low for this football team. They have too much talent to be over under 5. Yeah, their offense sucks, but that defense is elite. So let's go on to the teams we were the most wrong on. The first one is the Broncos. We both hit the over of 7.5 on the Broncos. We took the bait. We bought into the Broncos hype.
I regret that, dude. I
regret it too.
On the fence, and then I should have known that wasn't going to hit.
I was just thinking, you got Vic Fangio, a guy that I saw what he was able to do with that defense in Chicago, which you saw the Broncos still had a good defense this year, even without Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and some other talented pieces for parts of the season. What's up?
I was gonna give us a little bit of slack because, like, they lost a good chunk of their players and they didn't have Drew Lock for a while. But this Broncos team still competed week in, week out. Like, if you bet on the Broncos this year, you made money. So I think at fully health, like, I think we would have hit there.
Yeah, they were one of the best teams against the spread, surprisingly. But the offensive struggles were just too much for this team to overcome up until about late in the season where their offense started to go off. Just clearly the Broncos did not have the pieces, on top of the fact that Vic Fangio needs to figure out how to manage the end of it. It was ridiculous. We were joking about it before the episode, saying we need to sit Vic Fangio down in front of an Xbox and play some Madden to practice some time management scenarios, because Jesus Christ, he legitimately threw games with his clock and game management. So he needs to get that to an NFL level if he wants to stay the head coach of the football team, because he's already on the hot seat after year 1, and rightfully so. Whether or not you have injuries, there are plenty of teams that have injuries. It's not necessarily a huge excuse, but he should be kept around for another year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the draft and whether or not they want a quarterback scenario or they will die on the Drew Lock hill. Let's see, other teams that we were wrong on. Eagles over 9.5. We were definitely very wrong on. Kind of like we alluded to in the last segment. It's just we both liked the team coming in. We liked the organization. They were the only team with a returning head coach in a COVID year, which I thought would have a much bigger impact than it ended up having. Just because it's not like the other teams, we didn't predict their seasons to go the way we took the under on the Cowboys. We took the over on the football team. Giants pushed, so it doesn't matter. But we all knew what was going to happen with those teams. They were going to start off slow because they had to learn new systems with no offseason. And then as the season progresses, get a little bit hot, right? We knew that was going to happen. And it did. First 7 weeks of the season, the entire NFC East was dog crap. And then they started finally winning football games. But the Eagles, not only were they just bad, they never got hot. They never figured it out. They were never in a good stretch of games, which we were wildly wrong on. Vikings, we were really wrong. We took their over of 9. They were a team that just started off really slow. They started off 1-5, 1-6.
Yeah, they started off 1-5 and turned it on late.
Yeah, they turned on late. It's just a little bit too much to overcome, especially with their lack of defense now. Their defense is clearly an issue. 49ers, we both took the over on. I'll cut us some slack just because of the amount of injuries and turmoil that the 49ers have had to undergo. The Packers game, they had to play with basically less than half of their players, their starters. It's just ridiculous. And then the Falcons bait. We took the Falcons bait.
Yeah, story as old as time. You just gotta laugh that one off.
Yeah, over 7.5. You're looking at that team. Joe Jones, Matt Ryan. This is a team that was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It's only 7.5. They can.
Yeah. Then the day you gotta remember it's Dirk Cutter and the boys.
Real quick, going back to the Eagles. We didn't mention this on the Eagles segment, but are the Eagles the new Falcons? Through their first 5 seasons, Dan Quinn had a higher win percentage than Doug Peterson. Or through their first 5 seasons, not 5 games. They both made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, the Falcons lost and the Eagles won. But just, are the Eagles the Falcons that happened to win the Super Bowl? That's a question that you may hear in the future. But you got anything else to say on the over-unders? Any teams that you thought in particular that you hit the nail on the head?
Well, no, I think we said we need. I've already said how much I like Browns and Bills coming in, and then I took the over on the Chiefs, right? Yeah, because I felt like the Chiefs were just what was that at? It was 12.5, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay. That's why I liked it. I was like, dude, you telling me they're not winning 12 games, the Chiefs?
Yeah, I was definitely more skeptical than you were. It's just you're right. Looking back, 11.5 is really low. The thing is that people thought that the Ravens were going to be insane.
Oh, the super dog?
14-2, kind of insane.
I always, that's what I love about the NFL is because people come into the new season and just think it's going to be the same teams that compete. I mean, we've seen the Bills take an extra step. We've seen the Browns get back to the playoffs. We've seen the Steelers, be very, at one time the Steelers were undefeated. So and it will be the same next year. They're going to be well, the Bills are legit. And then, the Bills could go 10-6 and struggle because teams figure them out, but that's all I got to say on the over-unders.
Another interesting thing, we were 2-1 combined on teams that we switched right before the season. We had a thing so that we took all the over right before the season. We gave ourselves the ability to switch a couple of picks if we wanted to, and we had to take it at the current line at the time. It's not like we could just switch it and take the line back in time. You had to, if you were to switch, you were switched to what Vegas was currently predicting their season over-unders. For the 3 teams that we switched, their over-unders did not change from the time that we picked them, actually, which is kind of funny. You switched to the under on the Cowboys and the one. I switched my under on the Steelers to an over on the Steelers, which I'm really happy I did. I would not be able to live with myself taking the under.
Start 11-0, just feel Jesus, what did I do?
Yeah, what have I done? I guess me in particular, teams that I think I really hit the nail on the head. The Patriots, I think that
that's a good call.
That was a team. I think I was a little bit higher on them but I was just thinking, hey, this is a team, we see the lack of talent. We know that they're going to win a couple games they're not supposed to, and we know they're going to lose a couple games that they're supposed to win. I thought that I had them pegged as a 7-9, 8-8 team. They ended up going
7-9.
Okay, so I guess I was more right then. I thought they went 6-10 for some reason.
Dude, hold on. About the Patriots, don't mean to cut you off. How many COVID people they get out there, and Cam not being good, and how bad the offense was, and how many coaches other than Belichick could still put them around that 500 mark and be out of the playoffs until like week 16? That's just
not a
crazy
lot
to me.
Not a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think Belichick gets it. The fact of the matter,
I give him a ton of credit for that. That team was terrible.
Yeah, they were garbage.
The team was awful. Their secondary was great, but
I think we kind of knew what was going to happen. I had said coming into the season, I think this is a team like a couple years ago when their offense started struggling. We're going to see them go back to the power run, which at first they were kind of airing the ball out a little bit, using Cam in a bunch of ways. But when you saw that
Cam did a little bad.
Damian Harris and the power run game with those classic Patriot double teams on the interior started really showing up. Yeah, I just think you're right. With the amount of personnel inconsistency between the opt-outs and then guys getting injured in the season and then, draft picks not necessarily developing and stepping up, it was just tough-ass coaching job.
It was just too much at the end of the day. You just don't have enough.
And I think you're right. The fact that they won 7 games, I think the Patriots fans should realize that is really impressive. And some of the wins too, right? That win against the Chargers where you decimate them. A great win against the Cardinals. A great win against the Ravens. Like, they had some really quality wins. You had some annoying losses, but I think that you need to take the positives. And I think we need to realize that the Patriots are probably not going to be that poor in talent next season and seasons after if they still have Belichick around.
No.
Real quick, I think a team you were good on. Let's just start speed running these. Raiders, you hit the over. Good on you, because I hit the under, even though I like the Raiders 1 year away. I thought they were 1 year away, which it ended up kind of being, but hey, they hit the over, so you can't deny results. The Colts, I was really high on coming into the season. They were kind of what we expected them to be, even after a rough start. Who else? I think that's about it. We both took the over on the Cardinals. Over under 7 of the Cardinals is just low. And I guess I took the over of the Bucks. I bought into the GOAT and the Brady hype.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, I didn't like that team. I like them a lot now. I think they can make a run, but I mean, I should have never challenged the GOAT. That's on me.
I have one rule in life, and that is you never doubt the GOAT.
But you doubted the... Yeah, true. Yeah.
Listen, I have sometimes broken that rule, and I'm ashamed of myself. I came up with it when I was young, when every single season, the freaking Patriots with Tom Brady and the Colts with Peyton Manning would beat my Steelers to the ground. And I remember the Colts had a crazy comeback one year to beat us with Peyton Manning. And I was like, listen, these guys are too good. I'm not doubting them. You're just going to be a sad person if you